Hi guys, and welcome to Premier League Prediction Week 20. Sorry about the sun shining through the video, but can't do anything about that. So we start with the 12:30 kickoff, which is Middlesbrough versus Leicester. And I've gone for a lively game in this one actually. I've gone for exactly the same result that I went for Leicester against West Ham on Saturday, which wasn't the result actually, but I've gone for the same result. I've gone Middlesbrough 2, Leicester 2. Again, just fancy a lively game, so what a way to start 2017, I suppose, if that was the case. So let's hope so, eh? We then go to the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and we have Sunderland versus Liverpool. And I watched Liverpool versus Manchester City on Saturday, and Liverpool were very well organised. We spoke about that this season. Klopp's got them very well organised. They do still worry me at times, that they, a bit like Arsenal, don't put the chances away. They're a mistake waiting to happen. But I know Sunderland are fighting for points, but I think if Liverpool can play anywhere near the way they played against Manchester City on Saturday, they'll have no problem against Sunderland, and I took that into account. So I've gone Sunderland 1, Liverpool 3. We then have Manchester City versus Burnley. Obviously, I've just spoke about Manchester City. I thought Manchester City were okay. They saw a lot of the ball, but obviously with Liverpool very well organised, keeping them out and frustrating them. I don't really remember many shots on target with Manchester City though. I think Aguero had one shot, and it was just straight to the keeper anyway. So they need to bounce back from that defeat from Saturday. And again, what a perfect, no disrespect to Burnley, but what a perfect way to do it against Burnley at home as well. No excuses. So I'm going to go Manchester City 3, Burnley 0. We then have Everton versus Southampton. Very lively game on Friday. Everton versus Hull ended 2-2. They look very poor actually, Everton, in parts, especially in the defensive side of the game. And I've actually favoured Southampton in this game actually. I fancy Southampton to grab a winner in this one. So I've gone Everton 1, Southampton 2. We then have West Bromwich Albion versus Hull. Obviously I just spoke about Hull. I mean, they'll be buzzing, drawing to Everton, but then again they was 2-0 up, so I mean, yeah, you would have took a point against Everton before the game started, but obviously when you're 2-0 up, it does feel a bit of a kick in the teeth, doesn't it? But different kind of game today. I suppose I should have gone for a lively game in this one actually, but I haven't. I've gone for West Bromwich Albion 2, Hull 0. I just fancy West Bromwich Albion to be too strong for Hull, but then again I would have said that with Everton on Friday, but the only thing that's maybe gone West Bromwich Albion's way is West Bromwich Albion are at home, and as I said, I do expect them to be a lot stronger than Hull. So again, we'll see how that one pans out. We now have the 5:15 kickoff, which is West Ham versus Manchester United. As I said before, Manchester United, I've got about 6 wins under the belt now. It might be 7 now. Came back from being 1-0 down against Middlesbrough. You can't really fault that. They're starting to show some fighting spirit now. They might still not be playing their best football. I don't really see a lot of Manchester United, to be honest. I'd see just glimpses of here and there and everywhere. Match of the day or match choice or anything like that. So I don't get to see a lot of Manchester United, to be honest. But what I have seen, they are starting to gel as a team. It's around that period now. Christmas when you're playing every 2 to 3 days. You start gelling with your team, and we start to see what your team's all about. I think we're getting there with Manchester United. However, it is away at West Ham. I feel that West Ham's a really funny side. They either turn up and they can annihilate you, or they can have the games like they've showed up against Arsenal and they can get annihilated. Or should I say hammered would be the more technical word for West Ham. But yeah, so I don't know why, but I fancy a very tight game today. But I fancy West Ham to nick it. I don't know why, but I've just got this feeling that West Ham will nick it today. It's going to be a very good game, but West Ham will nick it. I don't know why that's gone from my head, but it has. So I've got West Ham 2, Manchester United 1. We then go to Tuesday night football, and we have Bournemouth versus Arsenal. I thought Arsenal were absolutely superb. yesterday against Crystal Palace. It was more like a training session. To be honest, can't remember Crystal Palace seeing much of the ball. Can't remember Cech being tested too much, other than that 5-minute spell that he had in the second half. But other than that, I can't really remember our defence or Cech having to do much. They were the much working side, I suppose, in the defensive side of the game. But then again, at Crystal Palace at home, I'd be expected that anyway. Anything less would have been disgusting. And again, no, that's no disrespect to Crystal Palace, but obviously when they're down the bottom and 17 points or whatever it is, 17th rather in the table, and we're fighting for the league, I'd expect nothing more than the way we performed. I thought we could have maybe scored a little bit more, put the game to bed a little bit earlier, but obviously we did the job 2-0. I can't really complain too much. As I said, we did do the job, and we were just fantastic, I thought. So not too many complaints. I expect not so much of an easy see of the ball against Bournemouth. Bournemouth are attacking side, and they will, try and come at us, and they'll have a couple of chances as well. And that's why I give a goal to Bournemouth in this game. They've got no Jack Wilshere, by the way. He's suspended because obviously it's an on-loan game. But again, I fancy Arsenal to try and be the stronger team in this one. Yes, as I say, it is at Bournemouth. It's going to be a hard place to go to. But I do fancy Arsenal to be stronger than Bournemouth. And again, if you want to be title contenders, you've got to send out a message. So I've gone Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 3, and let's not forget as well. If we can beat Bournemouth tomorrow, that narrows the gap down to 6 points. And yes, I know that Chelsea's got to play, but that does put pressure on them then. And if they could draw to Tottenham, we'll get to that in a minute. If they could draw to Tottenham, that only puts it at 7. Yes, I know 7's still a lot, and it's a long way to go. But you've got to start thinking things in advance. So I think Crystal Palace yesterday, and obviously Bournemouth tomorrow. That'd be my team talk to the boys, if it was my team talk. So just to clarify that, Bournemouth 1, Arsenal 3. We then have Stoke versus Watford, and again, I'm not really looking forward to this game, to be honest. Two teams that are struggling a little bit. However, Stoke did really well for the first 20 minutes against Liverpool. Can't take that away from them. It should have been about 3-0 up in that first 20 minutes. Didn't, and obviously came back to punish them. But I fancy Stoke to just about nick this one. I'm going to go Stoke 1, Watford 0. We then have Crystal Palace versus Swansea. Obviously, I just spoke about Palace. They didn't really threaten much against Arsenal, so they're at home against a home crowd. They need to try and make it up to their fans. It's a relegation battle, and I always talk about those vital 3 points. And for finally once, I'm actually going to go for a win for a home side who's in a relegation battle. So I'm going to go Crystal Palace 2, Swansea 0. Because what I did see of Crystal Palace yesterday, when I said they had that 5-minute spell, they have got danger in them. They can cause problems. And, if they get their act together, they are a decent side. And I do fancy Sam to get them out of relegation battle and possibly finish them around maybe 11th, 12th, if not maybe just outside the bottom 10, and get him into the get him maybe 10th or 9th. So we'll see. He's a very good manager. He gets the defence working, and I feel that Sam can get them out of trouble. I do. So 2-0 to Crystal Palace, in my opinion. And then on Wednesday we have obviously the derby. We have Spurs versus Chelsea at 8 o'clock. And obviously I spoke about if they draw and that. And I haven't gone for a draw just because on that. Because I said it'll make it down to 7 or this. Listen, Arsenal's got to win against Bournemouth yet. So But I've gone for a draw because I feel that Spurs are starting to look strong again, and obviously that Chelsea are strong, so we know what kind of game that's going to be, lads. It's going to be stuck in midfield for a lot of the game, probably a lot of floaters here, there, and everywhere. Getting frustrated. I just fancy 2 bits of magic in the game. Got a bit of magic from Tottenham and a bit of magic from Chelsea, so that's why I've gone 1-1. So we'll see how that pans out. So that has been my predictions for this week, guys, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time, because obviously it's FA Cup on the weekend. So I'll see you in 2 weeks' time, and thank you for watching, guys.